Hello and welcome, my name's PhoenixRyan. Today I'm going to be trying to break down the logic by using my approach to the Legend of Zelda Randomiser. I'm going to explain exactly what I mean as I play through the game. Let's begin by putting a name in. Now, one of the most common questions I get whenever I decide to stream this game is, how do you know where to go? Now, the short answer is I don't. Now, what I tend to do is I always start at Sanctuary. We got ourselves the magic flute there, which brings the Duck of Swag to come and lift us away. Now, what you can do is completely optional. You can check behind the woodcutter's house to see if there's a need to defeat Aghanim 1. By doing this and finding out if the item is useful or not, you can determine whether fighting the first incarnation of Aghanim is indeed worth doing at all. Oh, let's see. Oh, he's dropping magic. We should probably pick up that magic. Because you never know. You never know. Sometimes I get lucky with enemies dropping magic, sometimes I don't. Okay, so it's a red rupee. We don't necessarily need to fight Aghanim 1. There we go. My control decided to disconnect there for a second. So our actual next step will be to go to the Lost Woods. There are 2 items that we can get here. It costs absolutely no items to reach these. Alright, there's birds in the way. Oh, this guy's dropping magic as well. Alright, get out of the way. Get out of the way. Alright. So what have we got in the magic mushroom spot? Holy moly, it's the magic mirror. So now we can, whenever we reach the dark world, we can teleport back to the light world. And we now have a quick exit whenever we go into dungeons. We got 300 rupees from the thieves' house, or the thieves' hideout. We're going to be going to Kakariko Village, where we can get several items. Let me dodge this bird. Okay, so next stop, Kakariko Village. Now, I've always wondered whether I pronounce that correctly, so if anybody does know the correct pronunciation for Kakariko Village, do let me know. Do let me know in the comments below. Because I would hate... I've been saying Kakariko Village all these years, and I feel like it doesn't sound right when I say it every time. So, is that the right way of saying it? Let me know. So I always go to this house first because there are 4 chests that we can open straight off the bat. It costs us absolutely nothing. And if you're lucky, like we were here, you can find bombs. So we can open this bombable wall, which leads to another chest. Now, for the sake of 1 bomb, and since we're already here, it's definitely worth opening, even if the item's poopy, like it was just there. It was a green rupee. So what we can do now is we have enough to buy the jar from the man. It's a red rupee in this case, so we just lost 80 rupees making that transaction. That seems like a fair deal to me. Okay, so we can bomb that wall. We can open these chests. Red rupee. We got a blue pea, another blue pea, a shield, another blue pea, and a blue tunic. There's a lot of blue going on in this video so far. Oh, a red rupee. There we go. We've completely changed theme now. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna equip the magic flute. And we're going to get ourselves a magic Duck of Swag. Now with this we can obviously teleport or fast travel to locations relatively quickly. which is going to make walking around seem completely obsolete. Now, because we only have one bomb, I'm going to show you a place where you can get as many bombs you want, and it costs you nothing. It costs you absolutely nothing except the price of one bomb. So we're going to use our very last bomb on that wall. Get those 2 rupees, and we can acquire 4 new bombs every time we come in this house. There's one, there's another one, there's another one, and there's the 4th. So you can get 5 arrows and 4 bombs every time that you go into this house. You can use it as many times as you want. I like to use it early on in the game so that if I'm hard pressed for rupees, because you gotta save them 500 rupees for Zora, you don't want to necessarily be spending them on equipment at the beginning of the game. So what we can do now, again, this is something that costs us nothing to do. We can go into the back of the tavern and we can get the chest that's in here. Okay, so it's a piece of heart. Not particularly useful, but I'll take it. We need a bomb for the chicken house. You know it's the chicken house because the man's outside, the lady's out there sweeping, and it's got the little chicken hut attached to the house. So now that that's done, we can check this chest here. We get the red boomerang. Red boomerang is very, very useful on normal. We're doing this tutorial video on normal, so it's going to be useful for this playthrough. There's also one item that we can't get right now, which is from where you'd normally get the bug net. We need a bottle in order to grab that. So we're going to head down here, check the library to see if there is any item in here we need the Pegasus boots for. No, it's a red rupee, so we can just leave and we never have to look at that stupid library again. So before we use bombs up to go and do the race, let's find out what the prize is. Oh look, it's bombs. We already have bombs. So again, we don't have to do that. That's 2 things that we don't have to do. So now that we've done that, we can use the magic flute so that we can just fast travel. So what I like to do is fast travel to 6, and then we're gonna go see the man in the desert. We're gonna go to the desert cave. So you head straight to the right and then head straight up and just follow the bones and the cacti until you hit this cave. Once you're in here, you'll need your bombs equipped. And then you bomb the wall at the bottom of the screen here. The man obviously just talks absolute gibberish in the randomizer, so there's no need to speak to him. And, oh look, a bottle. That's super useful. So what we can do is we can use the flute to head back to Kakariko Village. Get ourselves the item from the girl, the Bugnet girl. Which we'll do now. So teleport to 3, head down, and then straight right, and you're at the house. So we'll give her the bottle, or show her the bottle, and she's given us 10 arrows. Thank you so much for wasting my time. So we're gonna head back to my house now. Grab the item from in here, because there is always an item in this chest. It's a red rupee. Don't necessarily need that, but I'll take it. Now, the next order of items will be the swamp. We will grab the item from the swamp. Then we'll go to the mini Moldome cave, and then the Ice One cave. Circling back round to the Eastern Palace. So I'm gonna go ahead and open the gate here. Perfect. So now we can leave, and that will have drained the swamp just above us. And we can grab the item from there. It's a blue boomerang. Now, we have the red boomerang, so this isn't particularly useful. But since we're here, we may as well grab the other chest. You do that by pushing the left and the right block, and then pushing the middle block away. And then when we leave, we'll head straight right so that we can hit Mini Moldorm Cave. So we'll need bombs for this. Oh wow, that snipe. That snipe just came out of nowhere. If that was a Call of Duty game, I would call hacks. So I'm gonna go ahead and release the bee. This is a nice, easy way to make this cave a little bit easier if you don't have the right equipment. Since we only have bombs to be able to reach the enemies. And then we're rewarded with 5 unique items. So we're getting money, piece of heart, arrows, and rupees. Really, really useless stuff. But, again, I like to play the percentages. That's how my logic works. Where there are more chests, that is where I'm going to go first. After that, the logic changes somewhat. The logic will change to, if you have the equipment to complete a dungeon, that is where you are supposed to go next. That's how I feel the game logic works. For the most part. And it serves me well in most of the speedruns I do for this game. Whenever I've found myself asking myself, where do I need to go next? I always just refer back to my logic of what equipment do I have? Where can I go and what can I complete? So I do apologize for the low health beeping. If I had something to cure it, I would. Well, would you look at that? Perfect, perfect. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to teleport to 5 so that we can go and get the Eastern Palace items. There's a bombable wall in Sarashla's house. Again, if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, I do apologize. If you wanna tell me off in the comments and tell me how to pronounce it, feel free. Feel free. I don't do well at pronouncing hard to read names. Oh my god, he just walked straight into us. Alright, so we've got the his little house here that we can just go into, and we can bomb his back wall. That sounds really wrong, so I'm not going to say that in the future. So we got a red rupee, the power glove, and another red rupee. So now that we have that, I'm thinking that the logic is dictating that we should go to... Right, what we need to do is save and quit here. We need to save and quit and go back to Sanctuary. The logic, because we've got the power glove, I always say as soon as you get the power glove, you need to go to Hyrule Castle. Do the Hyrule Castle dungeon. So we teleport to Sanctuary so we can use the shortcut, which will take us here. It will give us an item that we need in order to progress. So what is it? What did we get? Because there are 3 items that should be in here. Now, unfortunately, because this is still technically part of the dungeon, you can end up with dungeon items. See, we ended up with a key, but we also got the Moon Pearl. The Moon Pearl is exactly what we wanted from this, so we can save and quit again. just to get out of there, because we don't have the lantern, so it's technically not within logic to go all the way through there without the lantern because of the dark rooms. But now that we have the power glove and the magic mirror, and we've got the moon pearl, we should go and see if we can grab the hammer from somewhere. We're gonna need the hammer fairly soon, I would imagine. We're either gonna get the Titan's mitts or we're gonna get the hammer fairly soon. Now, the reason I know this is because we've now got the items we need for Dark World access. The game hasn't given us all of the equipment that we require to complete anything in the Dark World or even get to the Dark World. So without the hammer or without the Titan's mitts, we can't get into the Dark World at present. So we're probably going to get an item in here that will allow us to get Dark World access or allow us to get to a new area where the item for Dark World access will be. So let's see if I'm right. Let's see if I'm right. So the hook shot is here, which allows us to gain more access to Death Mountain, which tells me that the item we're going to need for access to the Dark World is going to be here on Death Mountain. Because right now there is only one place where the hookshot is going to be beneficial to us. So let's leave here. We could get the item on top of the mountain there, but usually, because it's a free item, it's not going to be all that useful. Because it's out in the open there, and we've already got useful stuff, it's unlikely to be anything all that useful. So we can use the hookshot to cross the broken bridge here at Death Mountain. Grab that. And we're gonna go straight in here. So I'm guessing that the hammer or the Titan mitts are gonna be somewhere in one of these two caves. So we'll use the bombable, the bomb on the bombable wall here. We'll grab the items from in these chests. So we got the heart container, piece of heart. Okay, that's no problem. Let's go up the stairs and grab the items from in here. Now we have to deal with the mini mold wounds. Let's do that. There we go. So you can use the bomb to do that. Piece of heart again. Another piece of heart. And there's the hammer. There it is. So we now have Dark World access in Kakariko Village, thanks to that. So that means that the next logical step, so the first dungeon that we need to complete is going to be in Thieves Town, which theoretically means that the next item that we're gonna get that's gonna be useful is gonna be in Thieves Town. Whilst we're here, we may as well check the spiral cave. My guess is it's not gonna be anything all that useful. I'm just going out on a limb here because we've got the item that we would need to progress. So this is more than likely not going to be a progression item. And because we don't have the lantern or the fire rod, there's a strong chance that the item in the basement of Tower of Hera is going to be a unique item. There's always the possibility that it is just a dungeon item, something like the compass of the map, but you know, if you're speedrunning and you take that risk and you're wrong, and it turns out to be a unique item, then you're gonna have to backtrack here so that you can do the Tower of Horror again. And nobody wants to do that, so we'll hold off doing the Tower of Horror. So see, we got an item. It's okay, but it's not all that worth. We didn't need that item to progress. So we're gonna head back to Kakariko Village now. So we're gonna teleport to 3. We have enough to do Zora, so we could do Zora right now. However, we don't have the flippers, and it's highly unlikely that Zora is gonna have the flippers. But we'll do it anyway. We'll do it anyway. But my money is on Thieves Town being the next place we should go. This is merely just trying to scratch an itch here. As in, we have the funds to do it. I want to make sure that we don't not have the funds to do this later down the line. Alright, let's check the item up there. It's 10 arrows, so we don't have to come back. Now, 9 times out of 10, Zora gives me trash. He usually gives me bombs, a small amount of rupees, some arrows, or something else that's useless. But on the off chance that he gives us something like the Cane of Samaria or the Master Sword, it's worth checking. It's worth checking and taking the time out. Give me something nice, please. It was a piece of heart. So, again, it was trash. So, we will have to save and quit because you can't use the Deck of Swag in that area. We'll go back from Sanctuary so that we can get our smooch. That's virtually all of our money gone. We're going to teleport to 3 now. And then we're going to work our way to the left here. Just to the left of here, because we need the Titan's Mitts to access the Dark World from the south. So we need to go from the north side. In order to access that, you go through the left side of the... So you go through the far left entrance in the Lost Woods. And then you go straight down to the right here. So now we can use the hammer, so we can defeat these posts here. Take that. We use our power glove to lift that up. Because we've got the moon pearl, we're okay going in here. Ow. That was rude. That was rude, sir. Right. So, now that we're here in Thieves Town, there are a few spots that we can check for chests. This first one here is the treasure chest game. It costs rupees to do every single time. I always check that first chest and that middle chest. I don't know why, but every time I do those 2 chests, I always get the item that I need from the middle chest. Every single time. That trick has never failed. So if you need to get more money, you can obviously do the chess game again. You can do this as many times as you want. It costs about, I believe, 50 rupees to play every time. Oh, it's 40 rupees. So anything above that, you're making a profit. So you can do that as many times as you need. You will need at least 80 rupees to get one of the chests nearby. There's the Sea House, which is this top right house here. Now, the reason it's called the Sea House is if you look at the shape of the house here, it's in the shape of the letter C. So we can leave there. And there's one more place here that we can check for items. I'm just gonna grab that real quick. There is the bombable house, which used to be the shop in the light world, which you should obviously check because it only costs a single bomb to do so. If you're in a hurry, you can just jump down there. And it's 20 rupees this time, so it wasn't anything special. So we can go ahead and just leave. So, onwards and upwards, we're going to go do our first dungeon. Because we don't have many dungeon-specific items. It makes me wonder... Okay, so we need to do a dungeon that requires no items. This ticks all the boxes, because this dungeon, so long as you've got Dark World access and the Moon Pearl, you can complete this dungeon. The boss in this dungeon can be damaged with the sword, the hammer, and the Cane of Samaria, strangely enough. Alright, so we're just gonna hurry and go through here, making sure that we pick up the chests along the way. Okay, so we head down the ways, slap him, and we go down the ways again. There's another chest that we can pick up. Oh my gosh, we're turning into little Skelly boy. Alright, perfect. So we got the unique item from there. There's probably not too much in the ways of unique items in this dungeon. But there are a lot of chests. There are a lot of chests that you can check, and a lot of them don't cost you anything to do. So we got the master key, meaning that we can do the boss. We don't specifically need the hammer in order to find the unique item here. However, it is probable that the unique item is in the big chest. That's a possibility. So we can go this way. I got lost there for a second, so don't hate me. So we're gonna head north here. We're gonna open up the doorway here. We have the spare key, which we're gonna need to access the room with the big chest. Grab that key. And then we head south and we complete the dungeon as normal. So I will obviously just run through here. There we are. Now, the one thing you will need when you hit this point is you will need at least one bomb. Without a single bomb, you will not be able to finish this dungeon. However, the dungeon does give you opportunities to find bombs quite naturally. There are some under the pots in this room, so there should be no issues. Unless, for whatever reason, you miss your shot. So yeah, there's a bomb there that you can pick up. If you, for whatever reason, didn't have any bombs left. So we can go back the ways. We've now got access to the boss. We need to go and put the boss in the room, spoilers, by going and rescuing her from the dungeon. In a very similar fashion to Zelda, being in the cell, you use the big key to go and rescue them. And then but you can't take them out of the dungeon. Now, this is actually a dungeon that, even on vanilla, confused the heck out of me. When I was a kid playing it for the first time, I was wondering, where the hell do I go? So what you actually have to do is you need to grab the damsel, and put her in the light, in the just beneath the room where we bomb the floor. And then she turns into the boss. Now, before we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to go see if the item in here happens to be of any importance. It's the compass, so that means Blind is going to provide us with an actual item. The item may be trash, but hey, it's a unique item, and we've completed this dungeon. If we are successful in beating the dungeon, that is. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Because you never know. Mistakes do happen. And there we have it. Now, the fight with Blind is obviously a hell of a lot easier with a upgraded sword. If you have the Master Sword, the fight with Blind can be laughably easy. With the short sword or the hammer, it's a little bit harder. But we'll try our best. There we go. We managed to defeat Blind, taking only a couple of hits, and we got the Titan Mitts, meaning we've got more access to more of the world. We also don't need to take the long way round when it comes to the Kakariko Village Dark World entrance. We can actually use the shortcut in the middle. And now we can head to the right here. So now that we've got the Titan's Mitts, we now have access to where the blacksmith would be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do the posts here. Switching down all of these posts will provide you with another chest. Or at least another item, I should say. Because you go down the stairs and the item is there. Now, how you choose to proceed in the Dark World is up to you, but there are several items that you can get for free, and it costs you nothing but your time to get. In terms of actual progression, obviously you want to cut as many corners off your journey time as you can. So what I'm going to do is, before we rescue the blacksmith, we're going to do the Digathon game. Since there's no way to actually know what the item is without actually participating in the game, we will do the game now. And when you hear the chime for finding an item, that is when you found the item. There we go. So we found the item on the second dig. That's pretty good. Now, in terms of money, you don't really need to worry, because the only thing that you are probably going to spend money on at this point on is Kiko the Monkey to open up the entrance to the Palace of Darkness. So whilst we're here, we can rescue the blacksmith, aka the frog dude. We will equip our magic mirror. Lift the stone and teleport back to the light world. Now we can drop him off here. And they're happy again. Hooray! Gotta wait for him to go back to work though to get our prize. And it's more bombs. Great. But at least it's out of the way. It's done. Silly freebie chest. And speaking of chests, there is a chest that you can get right here once you've rescued the blacksmith. It is only openable by one guy in the entire game, And whilst you've got this chest following you, you can't enter any caves, you can't go into any dungeons. So make sure you are definitely committed to getting this chest open, and you have the means to get to the guy. So what I will do before we go that way is we will speak to this guy, Stompy. We've got a magic cape. And we go to the right here. And you can kill him or you can avoid him like I did. And then we head south. And we head to the desert entrance here. Now the man standing by the sign here in the light world, he will open the chest as you approach, and there's no need to press anything, there's no need for any button prompts. He just opens it. Now, like I said, a lot of the time those particular kinds of items, they're not usually anything, but it's always worth doing. Always worth doing. So there's an item that we missed along the way, which we can grab now before we forget. Just keep the magic mirror on. I'm just gonna teleport to the light world here. Make sure we're outside of the flower range so that we don't get stuck on those flowers when we teleport back in. And it's a heart container. Great. Okay, so we're actually looking at our equipment here and having a look at what dungeons that we can do. Now, in terms of equipment, there is still not any dungeons that we can 100% complete other than the one that we've already done. Now, I believe we're going to step on that flower. Yeah. Alright, so we need to approach it from the bottom. Done. So, because we can't 100% complete any dungeon, we're not going to be going into any dungeons until we find another item. That's just how my brain works. It's senseless going into a dungeon to potentially get locked out, whilst there are still places you can check. If you can 100% complete a dungeon, then go and do it. 100% go and do that dungeon. Don't, you know, at that point, stop looking in the overworld because you have everything that you need in order to progress. More than likely, the next set of items that you need are gonna be in that dungeon. We have the silver arrows so we can fight Ganon. We have a piece of heart. We have the 300 rupees, 10 bombs, and a green potion. Alright, so we didn't get anything useful there. Not really, except for the silver arrows, which we can't use. So let's head north. We can go up the ways. Now, because we've got the hammer and the Titan's Mitt and the hookshot, we can basically get everywhere in the Dark World. We're not locked out of anywhere. However, we can't complete any dungeons. Now, if you did want to dungeon dive, there are only 2 dungeons that I would highly recommend that you try. Those ones are the Eastern Palace, because there are several dungeons you can get there without any items at all. And the Palace of Darkness. You do not require the bow or the hammer in order to progress and get all, like, most of the items in there. However, you do need the lantern to get some of the items. So again, it's one of those where you will need to make a choice on whether you want to go into dungeons or not. I personally don't feel comfortable going into a dungeon not having all of the equipment that I need, because I feel like I'm wasting my time. Now we can access this guy over here. He will provide us with another item. It's a long way to go for potentially nothing, But we're running out of spots to check. Let's pick that up. I'm surprised that we haven't received the Pegasus boots yet. Oops. Alright, so now that we're here, let's throw this flower into here. What have you got for me? Hooray, another one. Great. Alright, so in terms of Dark World progression, we could probably leave the Dark World at that point. That is a whole wall. That was a whole wall. Okay, so at this stage, we can go to Death Mountain, and then we can access the Dark World in Death Mountain to access other parts of the... well, there's other places that we can check. So the easiest way to do that is to either go up the ways or use the hookshot bridge. I find that hookshot bridge is a little bit quicker and you can access items a lot faster this way. Particularly if you didn't have the hammer. If you didn't have the hammer, you can go this way. You know, just lift up that rock. That's it. That's all you gotta do. And you're in the Dark World again. So the cave we're going to, oh, that's the entrance for the Light World. We've got to go this way. And it's this left-hand cave, this one. So we take a left here and we go up the stairs. This is the Super Bunny Cave. Now, another trick I'm going to show you here, it's not particularly useful, but if you want to shave a couple of seconds, you can make blocks disappear if you push them whilst holding the, while pressing the magic mirror. Big thanks to BKG for sharing that tip with me, because I had no idea that trick even existed. Now, obviously, that's not going to become very useful, because there's only a limited number of places you could use that trick. For some reason, it only works there. But hey, we got the lantern, meaning that there's a lot of places now within logic that we can go, and it would be fine. It would be fine. So we can rescue the old man. We can go into the Palace of Darkness. We can go to the Eastern Palace. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we can now do and have access to that we didn't have access to because of the lack of the lantern. Now, again, if you already know the routes in complete pitch darkness, then more power to you. I mean, it's perfectly doable. It's a logic break, but you know, it's there. You are able to do that. There's another item that we can grab there. It's not an item that we needed, but we'll take it. Now we'll complete Hookshot Cave because there are several items in this cave. Usually this cave does have at least one item that is useful. Ooh, I nearly walked off the side. And Pegasus Boots. Pegasus Boots, probably one of my favorite items in the entire game. And Master Sword. Great. So now that we've got those... well... I mean, that's the shortcut, right? That was the shortcut. Those guys are annoying. Like, they are really annoying. But now that we've done that and we've got the lantern, we can actually complete all of Tower of Hera without worrying about not being able to get any of the items. So this is logically our next step. Our next step is the Tower of Hera. First things first, we are going to grab the chest that is just up the ways. It's the big key, meaning that progression means we go this way. Now, there is a chance that there could be a key down there. However, it's probably not going to be. I'm going to put money on the fact that the boss is going to drop a key, and we're going to get the dungeon items in chests. So I'm guessing that that will probably be a piece of heart or a heart container or something along those lines. We'll go back and check after we beat the dungeon, because we will have to... If I'm right and the boss drops a small key, we'll have to go back to the beginning of the dungeon anyway, so it doesn't really matter that we're missing it now. I'm gonna go ahead and open that. We can drop that. And it's the map! Okay. So even though it's the map, we've now just confirmed what I said to be true. The small key that we're gonna get is either in that room downstairs, meaning we needed the lantern to 100% complete this dungeon, or the boss is going to drop it and we would still need the lantern to gain access to the item in the basement. But this is why I said that I didn't want to complete the dungeon without the items. Okay, now just a warning, I am terrible at this boss. For whatever reason, he always knocks me off. No matter how many times I've beaten this game, he always knocks me off. Oh, well, he didn't knock me off that time. There's a first for everything. So we got 10 arrows. Meaning the small key is either in that side room or the small key is actually in the basement itself, meaning that we don't have to go into the basement, which would save us a lot of time. So let's just double check and itch that curiosity. Alright, let's see what the item is. Is it small key? No, the small key is in the basement. So we don't need to go into the basement because we can't get in there. It's just that simple. Alright, so that is complete. We got yet another crystal. Now in terms of bosses, we're gonna have to beat all of the bosses in the light world. My suggestion at this point is don't go into dark world like that. But you know, I'm gonna grab this item, whatever it is. That's perfect. And we can do burn a spike cave, because we have more than enough HP to just tank it. We have the HP to do it, so it's fine. It's perfectly fine. And we've got the cape as well, which could be why we got the cape. And the Pegasus shoes. Alright, so save a bit of magic so we can do this. Bombs, totally useless. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So at this point, what we'll want to do is we'll want to go and teleport to, well, we'll want to leave the this cave first. Next stop is going to be the Desert Palace. Now, you're probably wondering, if you don't have the Book of Medora, how are you going to gain access to the Desert Palace? Well, what you can do is you can use the flute here. Teleport to 6. Gain access to Misery Maya. And once you're up here, once you're about here, there you go. Now you can gain access to the Desert Palace without the book. So what we'll do is we'll go into the Desert Palace through the back entrance here. We'll find out what is on the Pegasus Boots stand. If it's a key, yep. So this dungeon was bootlocked, meaning that the progression that we've gone through so far has been confirmed to be correct so far. This is the progression that we were supposed to be taking. Being confirmed by the locations of the items in-game. Small key, so we go to the other side now. We can run to the right-hand side here. Open up this door. Grab the chest here. It's a map, so it's useless. Door's open again. It's a red rupee, so it's kind of useless. Now what you can do is you can either use the magic mirror to teleport back. However, there is an item that we can still grab. Hopefully it's something good. I'll take that magic. In this room here, there is a switch that you can press just between these guys. We'll throw that pot at him. And it's a compass. So at this point now, we can leave this dungeon. And we can go and complete the dungeon. Seeing as it's one of the crystals that we're going to need to be able to access Ganon's tower, we have to complete this dungeon. So I'm going to go ahead and equip the hook shot. I just got the wrong one. Mistakes were made, but it's fine. It's fine. So for that first spinning tile room, the key is always in the bottom left corner. In the next one, it's always the top right. I always get those two mixed up. Always get them mixed up. And we just run straight through there. So, tile, tile, done, go. Now, because we don't have the bow, we can't fight that guy in a straight fight. So don't try. You're just gonna light all 4 stands with the lantern or the fire rod, depending on which you have. It's easy with a fire rod because you can do it quicker. I'm gonna go ahead and fight the boss now, who you should just defeat as normal. I actually learned recently that this boss is susceptible to arrows. If you are a hell of a shot, you can use the silver arrows on these guys. If you fancy yourself a marksman. Now, I'm making mistakes because I'm trying to do this quickly, as you can see. But now we have the flippers. So natural progression for us is to do the Swamp Palace. That is going to be our next stop after we check 2 locations. There are 2 locations that we are going to check before we head there. Now, first things first, let's teleport back to 6. Teleport back to 6 because we've come to Misery Mire. we may as well check the 2 item locations that are here. We can see that that is the ether medallion that we're going to need. So once we've got ether, we know that we can access Misery Maya, if indeed we even need to go to Misery Maya. Alright, that there is bombs, that is bombs as well, so this was completely unnecessary. And there is also the checkerboard maze that we can check since we are here. But there's nothing... To me, there's nothing more satisfying than confirming the logic to be correct. And there's the bow. Because we came here, because we did the Desert Palace, and we did it the way that we did, that is why we found the bow where we did. So it makes sense. So now we have a choice. Because we can do everything in the Swamp Palace, but we can also do everything in Eastern Palace and Palace of Darkness. So we do have some choices on our hands. What I'm going to suggest, though, is that because we found the flippers first, ahead of finding the bow, we're going to do Swamp Palace first, because you only need the hook shot and the flippers to do that dungeon. We're going to teleport to 4. We're going to check out the man under the bridge. That was an orange soldier. What the hell was that? I've never seen an orange soldier before. It's like he was damaged. So yeah, there are 2 spots that I want to check before we go ahead and do Swamp Palace. The reason being, because we just got the flippers, it makes sense that we're kind of being led to believe that these locations are somewhat our next places to check. So before we go into the next dungeon, these are the places we can check. It wasn't useful. So that's fine. We can go to the witch's house and provide her with a mushroom at 2. Okay, that's fine. So what we'll do is we'll go back. I don't know why I went that way. If we wanted to play that smart, we could have gone the other way. That would have been a lot quicker. So see, there we go. We got ourselves another thing. I'm gonna go ahead and buy that. Not that we'll need it, but I just like having one. And we'll head to the Waterfall of Wishing, which is the only other spot that really requires the flippers at this stage. In terms of overworld items, anyway. Because we know that the waterfall ledge is useless. It's 10 arrows and 20 rupees. So that didn't pay dividends to do. So what we'll do now is we'll teleport to 7 and complete the Swamp Palace. Now, before we go in there and drain the water, we do need to access the Dark World first. Once we've completed that, we can go in. We can drain the water in the light world, head back into the dark world. I don't know why it is that when you leave that screen, the water comes back. I'm assuming it is just in case you mess up the dungeon. Because I mean, it is entirely possible to mess up the Swamp Palace. and just block yourself, so you need to reset the dungeon. In order to do that, you need to leave the screen. I'm just gonna go here. Perfect. Perfect. So, here we go. We're going straight in. Now, obviously, if you want to kill these guys quickly, just use the hook shot. Now, that item will always unless you're playing Key Sanity, that item in that chest will always be a key. Also, always a key there. And you have to bomb that wall in order to progress. But if you're watching this video, I'm pretty sure you know how to beat this game. In vanilla, at least, anyway. Most people I've spoken to who play the randomizer have played the vanilla game at least once. Although the person that got me into the randomizer actually had never played the vanilla game, which I found super interesting. Okay, so now that we've done that, we can squash that. We will go ahead and so you can mess up basically by not picking up the key before flooding the floor. There are 2 occasions where that happens, and you must pick up the key before progressing. Otherwise, that key is like, you can't get that key back. Now, we have no dungeon items yet, so we're gonna head south. We have a key so that we can progress to the west. But this area here actually requires no dungeon items, so we'll do this area first. And we got ourselves the big key, meaning we could essentially just go straight to the boss. Got our second dungeon item, so we're just missing the map now. We go ahead and break that switch, so we've got the shortcut open. Need to remember to pay attention to my own advice, which is pick up the key before we progress. There we go, because I was nearly about to let the water flow down. Almost. Almost. Alright, now that guy's in a really annoying spot. Alright, perfect. So now that that's back raised, we do have to go the other way. The reason that we do that is because one of the chests requires the red tiles to be lowered. So you need to keep the blue tiles raised. So what we'll do here is just walk on through. To prevent any complications with the fire, you can just jump down the side there. And so far, we haven't found anything of note here. Nothing yet. Excuse me. But we do have everything that we need to complete this dungeon, and I'm pretty certain that this was a crystal that we get from this dungeon. So, provided that I didn't completely goof and just start doing a dungeon where we didn't need to do, then this is completely fine. If not, note to self, delete the footage. Oh dear. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm gonna leave that in. So now we can start making our way towards the boss. We have all of the dungeon items, meaning everything else that we get in this dungeon is going to be a unique item. With exception of one. One thing is going to be... Oh my lord. It is going to be a small key. But it's always a small key. The reason for that is so that you don't block your own progression. And I hate it when those things block the way. Alright, so once we've drained this, we now have access to the rest of the items in this dungeon. So we head down the stairs and then we head directly south. Heading south, we can hit the 2 chests that are in this room that were unobtainable earlier. There were 2 blue peas, so I'm assuming that there's probably not going to be anything in this dungeon. You need to push this block so that we can get that. Okay, so it was a piece of heart. That's all of the unique items that we can get in the dungeon. The only thing that we can get now is from the boss, which we may as well kill, even if it is just for a crappy pendant. I suppose we'll find out what it is, because I forgot to look at the map. And there's the key. We go in here, and... I'm so used to being able to one-shot these guys. Interestingly enough, the hammer works on this boss as well. So if you were to do that, and then hit it with the hammer, it works. Give me your clouds of doom. I don't know what these even are. Alright, and this boss is highly susceptible to the silver arrows, by the way. He dies in one shot if you hit him with them. Okay, red rupee. So this was a completely pointless dungeon other than getting the dungeon crystal, which we absolutely had to grab. We absolutely had to grab. And that is my controller disconnecting again for the probably the 3rd time during this recording. So now that we're still shy of the fire rod, we can exit the dark world. We can take a look at where we can go. We're gonna teleport to the Eastern Palace. That seems like the logical next step, since we have the bow. However, we will do the Palace of Darkness first. Seeing as we can grab that. Now, Misery Mire, Turtle Rock, and the Haunted Woods, Skull Woods, I should say, are all looking like optional dungeons. Which is probably the luckiest I've ever been. Now, we've had no Cane of Samaria. We've had no Ice Wand. We've had none of the medallions show up yet. Meaning that Turtle Rock is completely off the table. I'm going to assume that we don't even need to step in there, because we already have the means to defeat Ganon. We already have the bow. We already have the magic cape, the hammer, the Titan's mitts. We have all of these items without even having to step foot in that direction. So that tells me that we don't need to do Turtle Rock. However, if you are a completionist and want to obtain more chests, then feel free. But this is just a quick reminder, just to say, this is the approach that I take when it comes to the logic of the game. Specifically the randomized seeds in The Legend of Zelda Randomiser. So we're gonna need our bow equipped for this, as we would be bow locked without the bow. That makes no sense whatsoever. There are enemies in this dungeon that require the bow for you to progress, is what I'm trying to say. And those bombable walls are super weak that you can just use the Pegasus boots. Ah, there we go, perfect. Absolutely no damage taken there. It was done perfectly. So this is the route that I tend to take when I go through this dungeon. That is the wrong button there, Ryan. That is the wrong button. So what you're going to need is to hit that switch. You're gonna have the pain in the arses here. Just gonna walk past. And there we go. We can now head north to this part of the dungeon. Did we pick up the big key? No, we didn't. So we'll go this way first. We got the medallion though. I mean, medallion's pretty nice. We'll take that. We'll take that small key because now we're actually on evens for small key. I think we have every small key on the map. So that's probably going to save us a lot of time later. So I'm gonna use this small key on this door. I'm gonna grab this chest here. We're not gonna grab the other one there, not just yet. We're gonna go back the ways and see if we can. So what we'll do is we'll actually use the magic mirror to teleport back to the beginning. If we go this way through the middle, we will hit the room that I was going to make my way towards. What we need to do is we need to use the hammer here to get rid of that. Now we can access that chest that's on the ledge. Yeah, another small key. So, yeah, that is all the small keys, I think. Go. And you'll need a bomb for here. Thank you. Once you drop down, you can use the small key on this door. Make sure you use this door before jumping down, otherwise you are going to have to double back on yourself. We got the big key. So we now have all of the equipment that we're going to need to finish the dungeon. We've got ourselves the map. We want a magic mirror again. And then we'll want to head straight through here and to the right. By doing that, we can completely bypass all that nonsense with the... I don't even know what they're called. Those big bouncy... the big bouncy balls. Those guys. So we just go past them. And grab this safety pot so we can throw it at him. Now the last key, you may be wondering where that goes. That actually goes to the, it's for progression for the end of this dungeon. There's actually a locked door just before you can gain access to the boss door. What we'll do is we'll go to the right here, we'll go down the ways and grab this other chest. Now that we've got that, we can open up the big chest, which should be a unique item. Should be. I wonder what it'll be. It's a heart container. Great. Alright, so now that we've got that, We can head back to the beginning once again. Head north. This time we take the left-hand path. Oops. And there we go. Now we're safe to go around. That's what I was gunning for. I was trying to kill those off before we went around. So I'm going to use the boomerang here, so we can go straight over there. I'm going to have to do this the old-fashioned way, as we don't have the Cane of Samaria. We're going to have to actually do the puzzle. And shoot that guy in the face, shoot those two guys. I'm going to pick up that heart because we're running a little low on hearts. Got plenty of arrows, which again, having the silver arrows ready for this boss is super useful. It will make killing this boss absolute child's play. Once you've removed the mask, he's susceptible to silver arrows. I'm actually surprised at the number of enemies in the game that are susceptible to silver arrows. I knew they were powerful, but I had no idea that they were so powerful. And I know that they're supposed to be the only item that is usable against Ganon during the final fight, in combination with your sword, obviously. I'm just gonna take those hits. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. So we've made our way through. We are gonna go down the ways here, through the teleporter, and straight up. And there we go. There we go. Onto the boss. Now there are different ways that you can approach this task. You can use the hammer. You can actually use bombs to weaken his mask as well. I find the bomb strat to be way quicker, way easier as well. I should be off, and arrow. Got him. And I just get a little bit impatient and like smacking the door, you see? Thanks for the bombs. We got ourselves another crystal. Amazing. So, in terms of other dungeons that we can 100% complete, we can now 100% complete the Eastern Palace, which we will do now. This dungeon is pretty self-explanatory. You just keep going forward. I'm just gonna quickly go through this as quick as we can. I realize I'm saying quickly a lot, but you know, them's the breaks. Alright, so that's a red rupee. Again, not a particularly useful item for completing any of the dungeons, but hey ho. So, first item that we can grab, other than that one that we got, is in here. And once again, this is a dungeon that you could potentially logic break by not using the lantern, because there's only a limited amount of rooms in this dungeon that have darkness in them. However, if you do want to follow the logic entirely, you want to wait until you've at least got the lantern before coming here so that you can access all of the rooms. Well, all the rooms with items in anyway. You will need the bow in order to reach the boss. You don't necessarily need the bow to beat the boss, but you need the bow to reach the boss. Oh man, my aim is atrocious. Right, that's the master key. Now, if we get the compass in this chest, that means we got to do the whole dungeon. If we don't, there's a chance that we don't have to do the whole dungeon. So, okay, logically speaking, the boss is going to drop one of two items. One of those items could be the compass, or it could be a unique item. Likewise, the chest, which is in the trapped room, will have the compass or a unique item in. So at this point, it's a 50-50 gamble. Do you want to go through here and grab the item? Or do you want to go to the boss and maybe have to do this? So there is a trick to this. There you go. So that's the unique item. We know that the boss is going to drop the compass now. So that's actually just a trick on how to avoid having to defeat all of the enemies in the room. By the way, it's you just walk onto the switch and stay on it during your invincibility frames. We have the key there. Now this is the other part of the dungeon that you would require the lantern for that particular room. It can be an absolute nightmare without the lantern. However, if you are feeling confident and you know what you're doing, feel free to logic break there, provided you have the bow already in tow, because you will need the bow for this room. Without it, you can't defeat that guy, and you would get stuck. And even if you manage to get past them, you would still have to get past these two as well. So they did think of people trying to skip. Now with the silver arrows, this boss is an absolute joke. I know it's the first boss in the game, but absolute joke. You can one-shot even the last one. So even when he goes into Angry Fury mode, yeah, he's an absolute joke. Okay, so now that we've completed those dungeons, and we have all of those crystals in tow, we have one more crystal to fetch. Which we will just find out which dungeon that is in just a moment. That dungeon is the Ice Palace. Now, here's the problem. We only have bombos. Meaning that it's doable, because you don't specifically need the fire rod for the Ice Palace. Like, it's a complete myth that you need it. But it does make life a lot more straightforward if you were to be carrying the ice one. That, I mean the fire rod even. Get your facts straight. You're doing a tutorial video, right? Alright, so what you'll find is you gotta use bombos to kill the Iceman. Alright, use the Master Sword so that you can kill those guys from a distance. Now, we don't have the upgraded sword. And we don't have the upgraded shield, nor do we have the red tunic. So, fighting Ganon is going to be quite fun. Now, there's an item in here that you can grab quite easily. Just use the hook shot to one-shot these guys. Like, yeah, even the red sword doesn't kill them that quick. Just use the hook shot. It's way, way easier. It's way quicker. Okay, now for this room, what you want to do is go and do that. See, there's me messing this room up. There we go. Ooh, we have exactly 1,000 rupees. That's screenshot worthy. Alright, so we're gonna drop our bomb there, and then we're gonna drop a bomb there. And then head south like this. Alright, now that that's done, we can kill these guys. Now, it is entirely possible to kill these guys without bombs. The quickest way is with bombs, but if you, for whatever reason, ran out of bombs... Whoops, I just used a bomb. I hope I don't need that later. But yeah, if you, for whatever reason, ran out of bombs, you can kill those guys. I actually didn't think it was possible to kill those guys. BKG, good friend of mine, he actually tested the theory out to see if it was killable because he ran out of bombs himself during a run he was doing. It turned out that yes, it is entirely possible to kill those guys with just the sword. So that was fun to find out. Also, don't ever open that door. Don't ever do it. Alright, so the trick here is we gotta lure both of those out. Use bombos to kill both of them again. Big key, so that means we can now bomb this floor. If it wasn't the big key, we would drop through the right-hand floor because we wouldn't need to interact with the big chest at this point. But now that that's happened, we've actually got a hell of a lot less to do. We do, however, have the only issue of not having the Cane of Samaria, meaning we are going to have to do the dungeon the traditional way. Which I don't like doing. I really hate doing it that way. So what we'll do is... we'll actually go this way. We'll use the big key. So I'm going to make sure that I do not use the key in the wrong spot, so... that guy dies. Perfect. So we've used the key in the correct spot. I'm gonna go ahead and just do that real quick. Come on. So now we can go back up. Now, the only issue that we're gonna have is that we still have the issue of pushing the block in the correct spot. Now, because of these stupid tiles, we can't get to the block that we need to. It's the left-hand block that we need to push down. So we have to go back down the ways. So now we can progress now that we've used the key and we've already done that nonsense there. So that's a big time save, so we don't have to do this whole dungeon like 2 or 3 times. How I wish that was the Cane of Samaria. That would have made my life a hell of a lot easier. Now, uh-oh. Uh-oh. I think I may have bought this dungeon. Hmm. Hmm. Just think. Where is... Okay, so those are the 3 other palaces. So if you find yourself in a situation like that where you completely mess up the order of the items that you're supposed, the things you're supposed to do, you may need to look at other dungeons. However, we may not have completely balked this. Let's just double check. We may have done, though. We may have ruined our chances. No, you know what? All is okay. All is okay. There is still there's still a room that we can get to where we need to get to without the use of that key. So thinking about it logically, so you know the room with the giant boulder, the giant spike trap. If we go to the north there, you're allowed to drop down. In a certain spot, so we can do that. We can do that. But there for a moment, I actually thought that I messed up in my tutorial video. I was thinking, right, okay, so now that we've messed up, where's the Cane of Samaria? Speaking of which, still hasn't appeared. Oh, oh, there we go. You know, sod's law, it's going to be in here. Now, considering it's an item that you're going to need for Ganon's Tower, I'm surprised that it hasn't appeared yet. So, I'm actually a little surprised that we haven't found it. So, it's probably going to be in this dungeon. There we go. So now we can fall down in here. So yeah, this is the purpose of this room. If you were to fuck up for any reason, this is why this room exists. On the off chance that you use the key in the wrong spot. Because now you can do that. Now the beautiful thing is this leads straight to another locked door. But that's perfectly fine. Because that's not what we want. Okay, this better not be another locked door. Aha! Get out of here. There's a spare key. There's another chest. So that will be an item. Cane of Samaria. There we go. So it turned out that it was in here, and oh my god, I was sweating a little bit there because I'd used a key probably in the least effective fashion. If I already had this item, then what I did would probably have been the smart play. But I didn't have it, so... Luckily... You know, we're okay. Luckily, we're okay. This is why this is one of my least favorite dungeons in the whole game. I believe this and Turtle Rock are my two least favorite dungeons in the whole game. I think like all the other ones are really, really easy. This one, for whatever reason, I just have trouble with. Because I walk into traps. I make silly mistakes with keys. Oh my lord. Okay, so we're gonna have to use a potion. No, we can use that fairy. Okay, that works. Oh my lord. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Alright, so we're gonna head down these stairs here. And we should just be able to go straight to the boss now. You should be an absolute cakewalk. Because we've got both, because we've got bombos. Using bombos will just make this boss so easy. And so long as you got the Pegasus boots, doing that trick with the ice against that trap is no problem. We just took a hit while we were falling. That was absolute nonsense. All right. Well, there we go. The skeleton was falling. And we don't need to do this the old-fashioned way anymore. Screw that noise. We're just going straight through there. You know what? I should have deduced that the kind of Samaria would be in this dungeon. Should have just gone with my gut that it was in here. So I think we're actually going to complete this with the fewest items that we're actually going to need. And there we go. Now we can fight the boss. I'm gonna go ahead and stick the magic cape on, just 'cause I'm a little concerned that I suck at fighting this boss. So we're gonna go ahead and use the blue potion. Now without the fire rod or an upgraded sword, this is a tough fight. Probably one of the hardest in the game. I would probably go as far as to say this fight can be more difficult than Ganon. Just because of the amount of hits that it takes, and just because of the sheer amount of contact damage that can occur. Hey, we got another key. Great. So, looking at all of the items that we actually have in our inventory, we have just the right items to be able to fight Ganon. Like, all of the items that we need to fight Ganon. So we're gonna go to Ganon's tower now. I think after that performance, though, I should probably buy at least a couple of potions. Because I don't want to die during this tutorial video. Whoa, bucko, no empty bottles. Okay. Alright, so we teleport to 1. We have everything that we need. So, again, Like I said, the logic has provided for us. So what we'll need to do is we'll actually need to go to Turtle Rock and go into the Dark World from Turtle Rock. That's how we'll progress. Because you can't reach Ganon's Tower any other way. Well, I suppose you could go from the base of Death Mountain on the past Hookshot Cave, the Hookshot Bridge even, and then just walk through the cave network that way, but seems a bit of a waste. Now, I'm fairly certain that you do not need the Fire Rod to complete Ganon's Castle. I am fairly certain. I believe all of the torches are... You can light them using the regular lantern. Pretty certain. Ow. Ow. Right, Ganon's Castle. Here we go. I don't know why I'm equipping the boomerang. I mean, that is probably the most useless item that I could be using. Yeah, I believe you can light all of the torches in that last room with just the lantern if you get that oh, well, you know what, I'll take that. I'll take those rupees away. I don't want you spending them in all the wrong places, you know. Alright, so we need the magic hammer for this. Yeah. Now the key was under there anyway. You did not need the hammer to do that, but you needed to squash those things. Alright, so there's several chests in here. We may get lucky and we don't have to do most of the dungeon. Oh, that's nice. Half magic. Ether. Fire Rod. Okay, so that makes life a hell of a lot easier. We do need that big key though. Whenever that wants to decide to show up. So until then, we have to just progress through Ganon's Tower as in vanilla. Alright, there is a chest in here. We can use the magic cape to avoid damage. Alright, it was shit, so... Never mind. Never mind. Alright, so that is now blue tiles. We can... Oh, shit. There we go. Yeah, I need that key, you see. Need that key before we progress. Now, here you go. That's the way to do it. Just use the cape. A good friend of mine says that he's never found a use for the magic cape. I find a use for the magic cape for more and more situations the more I play this game. Okay, so there is a bombable wall on the left-hand side there. Now, you gotta make sure that you actually check this if you haven't found the master key already, because there are several chests in here. There's a certain spot where the there it is. One magic powder finally. You know, I'll take that. That's as good as a full heal. I will take that. Alright, so that is the wrong room. That is the wrong room. Alright, so we want to go through the right-hand side here. And we want to go through that left one. So that we appear down there. We've got these guys to deal with that we could walk past, because they're not difficult. They're not difficult to dodge. And there we go. We're in this room. So we actually have all of the things that we need for another part. Now again, I'm a little bit surprised that we haven't found the master key. Now you can use ether to light up the path if you didn't know. Now I suck at remembering where the path is. I have a terrible memory. Bollocks, as you can see there. As you can see there, I have an absolutely awful memory, even after just seeing it. So, this is why I bring a green potion, just in case. You can light the way again. So, all I have to do is go left and then up. There we go. Now, if you didn't know, you can light that up. And it will light up the path. Here's another trick. If you have the magic powder, you can kill those stupid anti-fairies and turn them into regular fairies. But that's only on normal. If you're playing on hard difficulty or higher, on the randomizer, they only turn into hearts. But on the vanilla game, as well as the randomizer, that is what happens. So this guy, complete pushover, boom, 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 boom. Alright, so we can get the chest from in here. Hopefully it's the master key in here, otherwise we do need to check the other side. I don't want to go the other side. Oh, now we gotta go the other side. Damn. I didn't want to go the other side, so I'm gonna use the magic mirror to speed things up just a tad. We've been quite unlucky with finding the master key, but on the plus side, we have got 2 keys again. Means we can, once we find the master key, we can just, leave. Well, I say leave, but we can go and do the, we can go and fight Aghanim. Alright, there it is, and boom. Boom. And oh, what the hell? I missed. Oh yeah, I got no magic now. But the reason that we're destroying these is so that we can get the chest that will drop in just a moment. There it is. Master key. Perfect. But we're now short 1 key, so we're gonna have to go down this way. Use that fire rod to make this a little easier on ourselves now. Alright, now we can go in there. Alright, so the trick to this is you need to grab a bomb and ever so slightly tap the right direction so that you throw it onto the conveyor belt in the right spot, just so that it's enough distance so that you'll touch the switch. Now there are 4 chests in here. There is a correct order to opening these, however I always mess it up. Partly because I like making those things fall. I think it's freaking hilarious. Alright, so we're gonna go this way. Because we can get ourselves yet another key, which we're going to need. Go ahead and do that. Because we don't need anything else. Now that we've got that additional key, we have everything that we need to beat the game. We have 2 keys. We've got access to... oh, excuse me, this guy. This guy is being rude. Alright, there we go. So we've got access to the entire tower now. And we are able to kill Ganon. So we've got absolutely no obstacles left in the game. It is legitimately game over. So, just for the hell of completion, we will finish this run. Well, that didn't go so well, but it's fine. It's fine. There's just a couple more rooms that we need to do. Again, another use for the cape. So many uses for the cape. Alright, bam, bam, bam. And there we go. We can use, again, we can use ether to kill the skeletons. Makes life a little bit easier. Bombos will kill these guys, hopefully? Question mark? Yes, it does. Again, you can use the spell to just make life a little bit easier for yourself. So you don't have to deal with the ice physics in this game. It does make these rooms hella easy, though. Alright, now we have the Moldorm boss again. Well, the Sandworm boss again, I should say. The Moldorm boss is next. My apologies. My apologies. Please, stop writing that YouTube comment. Please. Please, it was photoshopped. Alright. Oh, damn. Okay, so... Alright. Oh. Alright, you know what? I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it. I've heard this works. Oh, okay. Or not. There we go. We got him with the arrow. And onward we go. Onward we go. We can use ether to kill these guys. If we had enough magic. Alright. Now that we have enough magic, now we can use ether to kill these guys. And to see where the floor is. Oh. That is such a tease that one of them dropped a full magic after we beat them. Alright, once again, ether kills the wizards. And we can just use the Pegasus boots to run into them. We're fine. And here we go. Here we go. This is almost the final stretch now. Just gotta make sure you've got enough magic to complete this. Oh. Alright, and you should have enough magic to do it now, so you don't need to pick up the full magic from there. First off, ow. Ow. Oh, you know what? We've messed up. We messed up there. So I'm gonna pick up that full magic and do this the right way. It's been so long. Alright. Whoop. There we go. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Alright, so we got 2 chests, so we got Quake. And we got the shovel! Hooray, I guess. Shovel hype. Alright, so we've only got a couple more obstacles left, and then we're at Aghanim. Oops. 3, 2, 1. You're at the room. Alright, now just for the hell of curiosity, I want to know what that item is. It was a key. So there are so many rooms that I never go into in Ganon's Tower. Uh-oh. No! He didn't knock me off the first time, but he knocks me off this time. Of course he does. Of course he does. Because he's an asshole. Alright, there we go. Alright, we got him. So the validation chest is going to appear just there. We'll use the hookshot to get to it. We've got the tempered sword. I mean, it's a little bit late on in the day, but we got it. I mean, I suppose Ganon isn't going to be fucking impossible now. Well, not impossible, just take all day. Now you can use the magic cape to sort of bypass these obstacles. I like to do that because I'm bad at this game. And the cape just helps me feel that little bit better at it. Alright, so we gotta kill Aghanim. This time we actually have to kill him. Alright, so positioning is basically key to beating him. Just knowing where to stand is half of the problem. Oh, that is the wrong button. I went to hit quit by accident. There we go, we got him. Now we can just speed that up. There we go. And now we can fight Ganon. Alright. We still got a blue potion. We still got the arrows. We're good to go. We're good to go. When I conquer the world of light, I will hold a parade of all my monsters to demonstrate my might to the people. Alright, fantastic. Now, in my opinion, this guy is probably one of the easiest final bosses in any Super Nintendo game. He is not difficult at all. Especially once you know how to beat him. What's that? We got him on stage 3 already? Okay. With the tempered sword? Okay. So we're gonna need the fire rod ready in just a moment. Oh, we got that quick hit on him. Alright. We didn't quite get it then. Didn't quite get it. Alright. Got him. That's it. So now we can just speed this up. Success! So, yeah, that is my logic to beating a randomizer version of the game. And that's it. We'll see how long it took. And there we have it, guys. I hope this has been helpful for you. If you've got any questions, feel free to send me a message either on Discord or on YouTube. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Take care.